Therefore, also in this case, the assumption is obvious that the celestial bodies could not have been formed by the classical accretion of gas and dust, although there are still some unanswered questions concerning distances of 430 and 580 astronomical units respectively. They are even significantly farther away from the central host star than AB Aurigae b. Therefore, also in this case, the assumption is obvious that the celestial bodies could not have been formed by the classical accretion of gas and dust. Although there are still some unanswered questions concerning this exciting system, it's already clear that the current theories of planet formation are anything but set in stone. In the course of further investigations, AB Aurigae could one day provide the first evidence that Jupiter-like gas planets do not migrate outward after birth, but are formed directly in the outer angles of their systems by gas instabilities of the protoplanetary disk. If this thesis is confirmed in the future, we would also have to look at the background history of our native gas planets in a completely new light. Galactic Methuselah. There is a new frontrunner. Experts have discovered the most distant structure in the cosmos ever observed. The galaxy in question, which is located about 13.5 billion light-years from our terrestrial home, came into existence 300 million years after the Big Bang. Given the gigantic distance and the resulting age, astronomers were all the more surprised when they realized that this cosmic Methuselah emits unusually strong UV radiation. An active supermassive black hole at the center is being discussed as a possible source of this phenomenon. This stunning glimpse into the universe's past could help researchers gain new insights into the birth of the very first stars and galaxies.
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into one of the most
came into existence? The galaxy in question, which is located about 13.5 billion light-years from our terrestrial home, came into existence 300 million years after the Big Bang. Given the gigantic distance and the resulting age, astronomers were all the more surprised when they realized that this cosmic Methuselah emits unusually strong UV radiation. An active supermassive black hole at the center is being discussed as a possible source of this phenomenon. This stunning glimpse into the universe's past could help researchers gain new insights into the birth of the very first stars and galaxies. The discovery of the new record holder, scientifically named HD1, was achieved through the use of several telescopes. These included the Spitzer Space Telescope, ALMA in Chile, and Subaru in Hawaii. The fact that this primeval structure emits an unusually large amount of UV light suggests that incomparably high-energy processes are taking place inside it, or rather, were taking place. After all, it takes 13.5 billion years before the light emitted by the object hit our blue home planet. Besides the theory of the supermassive black hole, it's also conceivable that HD1 produces a surprising number of stars. In detail, the star formation rate in this case would be 100 per year. For comparison, normally in such galaxies not more than 10 stars are formed per year. It could be that HD1 hosts stars of the very first generation. In contrast to their later counterparts, these glaringly bright celestial bodies were still significantly hotter and more luminous. Through the future use of the James Webb Telescope, experts hope to reveal the full background of HD1. The complex instrument is specifically designed to study those formations and structures that were created in the primordial days of the cosmos. Are we alone? This simple yet profound question is probably as old as mankind itself. So far, no one has been able to prove the existence of extraterrestrial life beyond a doubt. On the other hand, there are countless sightings of unknown flying objects often suspected of having alien origin. Together, we'll venture into the world of such controversies and unknowns. For this purpose, we will take a closer look at 5 mysterious incidents that have yet to be classified in a comprehensible context. Is there enough proof here for the existence of extraterrestrial beings, or only fallacies and misinterpretations? Stay tuned and make up your own mind. Cube-shaped structure. A pilot aboard an Airbus A320 high above the Colombian city of Medellin In February 2020, let his gaze wander over the impressive panorama of clouds. It doesn't take long, however, before the man catches sight of something he's never seen before. A compact, almost cube-shaped structure moving through the air in a dead straight line. Quickly, the pilot reaches for his smartphone and films the unknown flying object from his cockpit. One of the experts who was later questioned about the strange incident estimated the diameter of the metallic structure at just about 15 feet. In terms of its shape, however, the object differed drastically from all flying objects of terrestrial origin known to us. Its speed, too, presented experts almost insurmountable riddles. In fact, it seemed much too slow for a conventional airplane or a military projectile. Some proposed it could have been a solar balloon gone astray. However, a look at the altimeter that the pilot also filmed shows that the aircraft was at an altitude of almost 6 miles at the time of the recording. It's commonly believed that it's impossible for conventional solar balloons to survive at such a high altitude. Some other creative minds suggest that the video shows an alien research probe busy analyzing Earth's atmosphere. Crash landing in Antarctica. Technical progress makes many things possible. Thanks to Google Earth, for instance, we can take a look at the other end of the world with just a few clicks, without having to leave the couch. While virtual trips around the world are great for viewing famous sites or the next vacation destination, Google Earth is also used time and again to track down strange structures and formations that regularly give rise to heated debates. This includes the controversial observation made by a user in Antarctica a few years ago. A closer look at satellite images shows that something is hidden in the middle of the landscape that actually resembles a crashed flying saucer. Those who believe in the authenticity of this theory see in the perfect geometric shape of the object proof that it's no natural structure. Is it an alien spaceship that once crashed or landed in Antarctica and has now been revealed by receding masses of snow? As if this assumption weren't exciting enough, some researchers spin this train of thought even further. For example, American George Haas is firmly convinced that the Earth and Mars were once twin planets and thus the cradle of an interplanetary civilization. The founder of the Cydonia Institute sees alleged proof for his theory, among other things, in certain photographs of the surface of Mars. These include the now world-famous Martian face, which first hit the headlines in the 1970s. In the photos from Viking 1, we see a formation that actually resembles a human face. However, later photographs in higher resolution showed that this was not an artificial formation, but a completely natural one. At the time, the resemblance to a human face was probably due to the interplay of light and shadow and the tendency of our brains to align diffuse perceptions with known patterns and structures. Alien contact attempt. Mankind has already made several attempts to contact extraterrestrials. Among the best known of these are the Pioneer plaques and the Voyager golden records. Within these encrypted messages, researchers immortalize some basic information about our species and our home planet. So far, however, none of these contact attempts have yielded an answer, and if one follows the remarks of some prominent researchers, among them Stephen Hawking and Simon Conway Morris, we can count ourselves lucky that our messages seem to have fallen on deaf ears. In fact, an aggressive extraterrestrial species could use the information delivered on a silver platter to expose our weaknesses and subjugate the Earth and its inhabitants. Let's assume that highly developed extraterrestrial life actually exists. Why then have our extraterrestrial neighbors not yet made an attempt to contact us? Some theories posit that aliens already have conveyed us messages. We just haven't been able to interpret them correctly. Then there is the incident in Gainesville in the US state of Florida. While a man was driving along the road, his dash cam caught something, a bizarre blue structure that seemed to be falling from the sky. After the recording hit the web, many users suspected that it was an extraterrestrial spaceship. However, some scientists thought it was more likely that the blue glowing sphere was a meteor. That said, most projectiles that enter the Earth's atmosphere burn up in a brilliant yellow hue. It's therefore reasonable to conclude that the object that fell from the sky in Gainesville was composed of different matter. In detail, the blue coloration suggests a particularly high magnesium content. What makes the meteorite theory doubtful, moreover, is the fact that no corresponding crater could ever be discovered. Therefore, some people believe that it was the work of an alien species, a type of message or attention grabber. What's really behind this incident is still an unsolved mystery. Some scientists suggest we should remain open-minded about unknown phenomena. It's conceivable that we will one day meet with an artifact or coded message from an extraterrestrial civilization, something that simply cannot be ordered within a known context. UFO over Chile. It's November 11th, 2014, when two Chilean naval pilots are on a routine flight. But then, the infrared camera on board the helicopter catches something that probably no one expected: an unidentified flying object. Unable to identify the ominous entity, the pilots immediately attempted to make radio contact with it. However, the object, which was located at a distance of about 40 miles, did not show any reaction. Later, one of the men described the mysterious missile as a flat, elongated structure with a semi-oval bulge on its horizontal axis. While the unknown something made its way through the clouds, it emitted something that resembled a kind of gas. After the approximately 10-minute recording of the bizarre formation was released, it was immediately clear to die-hard UFO supporters on the internet that it could only be an alien spacecraft. No less mysterious, the object was invisible to radar. Even a group of renowned military experts and other specialists could not shed any light on the matter. To this day, no one knows what structure the men encountered. Near collision. On February 21, 2021, American Airlines Flight 2292 was en route from Cincinnati to Phoenix. At first, everything seemed to be going as usual until ground control received an unusual radio message from the pilot. The pilot stated that something had just flown directly over his aircraft. The unknown cylindrical object had missed the aircraft by a hair. The pilot immediately inquired whether military training vessels were currently in the air, which air traffic control denied. After it became known, the incident quickly became one of the most significant UFO sightings of the past year. In its shape, the object, which swept over the aircraft at an insane speed, almost reminded the pilot of a cruise missile. The airline involved did everything in its power to downplay the event. They admitted that the radio conversation had indeed taken place, but in the same breath, they pointed out that the radar in the region had not indicated any unknown flying objects. Some pilots, who preferred to remain anonymous, later stated that they had also experienced such incidents before. However, their superiors threatened them with dismissal if they went public with their reports. It's a well-known saying, nothing comes from nothing. If we now put this into a galactic context, an exciting question arises. How could the universe literally come into being from nothing? For our terrestrial lives, something can only be formed if components exist to build it. But where did the material come from that made the hour of birth of the cosmos, thus the Big Bang, possible? Together with you, we'd like to take a closer look at this profound topic today. What do experts have to say about this central question? And can it be answered at all with our current knowledge? Let's go in search of clues together. The end as the beginning. No matter if it's the Big Rip, the Big Crunch, or the Big Freeze, even if theories differ from one another, they all end in the same scenario, the end of the universe. If one follows these hypotheses, then one day the last star in the cosmos will burn up. Afterwards, the universe will change into a lightless place of emptiness. In that dark epoch, gigantic black holes will consume all remaining matter, before finally evaporating themselves into a final act of destruction. Space will expand until even the faint light from the evaporating gravity monsters is too dispersed to interact, and the activity of the cosmos will come to a complete halt. At least, that is a widely held view among scientists. While many researchers regard such a process as the final end of our galactic home, however, some experts recognize in it something completely different, namely the beginning of a new universe. In fact, some researchers are convinced that it was just such a dark, cold, and empty universe that was the basis of the Big Bang. However, before we go deeper into this exciting thesis, we should first address another, no less exciting question. How did the first physical matter actually come into being? If we want to explain the emergence of stable matter from atoms or molecules, it becomes clear that nothing of the sort existed either during the Big Bang or in the millennia that followed. What we do know is that the first atoms formed from simpler particles as soon as external conditions cooled enough to follow the formation of complex, stable matter. We also know how these atoms later fused into the stars to form heavy elements. However, our state of knowledge does not provide any information on how something can be born out of nothing. So let's turn the cosmic wheel of time back even further. Protons and neutrons, which together form the nucleus of atoms, are considered the first long-lived matter particles in galactic history. It's generally assumed